Hi, my name is Dean Jones, CEO of HealthDeliver, and I'm here with Francis, Dr. Stark, and Rob as well. So thank you for joining us today, guys.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So, Francis, we've known each other for a couple of years now. We've got to know each other's businesses and just entered into a great partnership. So I'd like to ask you to introduce Crisis24 to the Thailand community.
For sure, yeah. We're in almost every country. What are we known for? We're an integrated risk management company, and that really means managing all your different kind of risks, such as political risks, your security needs, your medical needs, all forms of risks in that sense, even environmental, where, today we hear of so many stories of climate changes, and that's where we are. We help companies to mitigate all these risks for their employees.
And across how many sectors?
Virtually across all the sectors, especially the oil and gas sectors, the scholastic sectors, and I would generally call it the corporate sector as well.
Yeah, okay. And Dr. Stark, in your role as medical director, you must have a lot of things that you can share with the public around different risks and so on, and different things that you've had to manage over the time.
So myself, I work with a great team of doctors and nurses that are positioned around the world, and their role is helping companies, travelers, expatriates, navigate the complex medical systems that they find themselves in. Good medical care exists in many of these places, but it's understanding how to access it. And then once you're in the appropriate facility, making sure that you're getting the right medical care. And then at some point, determining how best to get home. And so sometimes that might be with a medical escort, a doctor or a nurse, or even an air ambulance in some instances.
Yeah. And your support has been second to none on setting up our oil and gas and our medical assistance centre. Do you want to tell people a little bit about that?
So we focus on providing medical support to remote areas, and probably one of the most remote areas that you can get are these oil rigs or gas platforms off the coast, oftentimes only accessible by a helicopter. And so we provide doctors and paramedics that stay on the rig with a full clinic. And so you can see anything ranging from an infectious breakout or oftentimes what we see is trauma. And so an interesting case we recently had was an individual that unfortunately had his finger severed in a work accident. And so our team was able to provide first aid on the rig, and then work with the local system to get the patient off the rig by helicopter with medical support from the doctor, get him into the right medical facility, and then get the finger actually reattached. And this individual went on to be able to continue to work and have normal operations with his hands.
Oh, fantastic. And overall, Thailand as a whole, how do you see Thailand oil and gas opportunities? We've entered into this great partnership, which we're looking forward to grow. I'd just like to understand some of the things from your perspective that makes us a little bit different potentially to customers.
So working in a place like Thailand is great because you do have a very high quality of care in most places. The paramedics, the doctors that we work with are great, and so we can set up facilities that provide a very high-level, international standard, quality-focused care, and then work with our teams on the ground, like your organization, to get the people from the rig, a remote site, to a tertiary care specialty hospital so that they can get care that's on par, if not better, than what they might receive in their home country.
Yeah, okay. It has been really amazing to see the teams work together and have that combination of global standards with really good skills in Thailand. So that real mix together has been quite an interesting coming together of great talent, that's for sure. Francis, tools in products that Crisis offer. So,
well, we do have a host of tools and products, be it from the medical front, from the security front, our Horizon platform that allows you to track basically any employee traveling in any country to see whether they're entering into any danger zones, and then thereby sending you alerts, alerting you that something needs to be done. to medical kind of tools that we have that allows us to see in a holistic manner what are the issues that's confronting the traveler, be it from the environment or just the personal individual themselves. So our 55 years of experience have taught us many things, and this 55 years of experience is invaluable. And these are the knowledge and technology that we have that we are transferring even to the likes of HealthDeliver as we work with you guys. Yeah.
And Horizon, the application, do you want to just walk through the key aspects of Horizon? Who buys it? Who?
Well, typically any traveler that travels would need a platform, a monitoring system like Horizon. It aids the individual to be able to see on a global basis and to the countries or destination or even to the street lanes that are going into, whether there is any form of risk. It allows the individual to do pre-planning wherever they need to go, wherever or whenever they need to travel, allows them to plan against any potential risks and thereby, in that sense, mitigate all this unnecessary problems that might come up.
Okay. And corporations, schools, it's a wide variety of customers that take up the
Yes,
Horizon.
a lot of them has taken this up. And the key difference with our Horizon is besides the quality of the intelligence, the information that comes in, it's almost real time. It aids the individual in the sense that it creates zones where you are, in the event that you're traveling into any of such zones, it will send an alert to you. So this, by far, is one of the best tools out there, if I may say.
Yeah, the technology is amazing. I think the ability to be able to press at any time, say I've got an issue, that send the geolocation through to the control room and then be able to have a discussion around how best to deal with that. I think that is fantastic and second to none that I've seen in the market.
True. And it's two-way communication to aid the individual wherever they are.
Yeah, fantastic. And Rob, welcome to HealthDeliver, first of all. So you've come in as the Client Solutions Manager, or Director, I should say. So welcome to the team. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the work that you're doing, particularly with schools, how that interacts with some of the Crisis24 things we're doing, and some of the other solutions that are coming up.
Sure, thank you, Dean, and it's great to be part of the team and great to be working with gentlemen from Crisis24 who I know well. I think what we're trying to really do now is to really size up what's happening within HealthDeliver and Crisis24 and be able to tailor that to different industry demands or the demands of different industry segments. So a really good example is education. So we know in Asia, especially private education is a booming industry. We know in Thailand, now more than 160 international schools in Bangkok alone. And what we find, say, in the education sector, which is very different to other industry segments, is that when it comes to students and kids, we're actually intentionally trying to put them into a unfamiliar or sometimes uncomfortable environment, say on a school trip, like Outward Bound is a good example of that. So it could be trekking, it could be obstacle courses, could even be rugby games, football games abroad. And that's very different from a standard business traveler. So to know that there is an organization like Crisis24 out there that can assist and step in actually on the ground in the event of an accident, an illness, and this is an organization that are familiar with the environment, familiar with the terrain, what local health or security resourcing is available at that time. I think that gives schools and especially the parents a high degree of reassurance that everything is going to be taken care of should the event something is going wrong. So I think that's one aspect of the Crisis24 and HealthDeliver offering. But I think also for HealthDeliver in Thailand, there really does have a treasure trove of resources and options and solutions to not only teachers, students and parents. I'll give you an example. We recently ran a successful seminar with two of our experts, one of which is a neuropsychologist, around trying to source better assessment and diagnosis of ADHD here in Thailand. So for many expatriates moving into Thailand and might have a young child, it's very difficult to navigate the health environment here or specialist environment. So they're able to get their child diagnosed for any, say, learning challenge they have, and then actually get it treated in a way which is consistent with their expectations from their home country. So that's something that we've done recently to very specific, trying to connect parents and schools with specialists within the HealthDeliver network to get better outcomes for be it teachers, parents, and students.
And Rob, what are some of the challenges that the schools are facing when it comes to school trips?
Well, I think with schools, they are very, very competent at managing risk on their campus. And that's because you have these walls around you and you're able to very easily control what is going on within the campus. Where the challenge lies is when you go beyond the campus and there are things that you inherently just cannot control. And where does the responsibility for that fall? It falls usually on the teacher, who is then there escorting the students. And so what we really try to do is to help that teacher take some of the burden of risk and also being able to kind of look beyond and try and guide that teacher for what might be happening on the horizon. It could be a potential weather event. It could be some kind of infectious disease in that area that say might require a vaccine. It's really helping guide teachers that are really not trained to embark on some of these expeditions, on some of these trips, and just to help sort of alleviate some of that burden. How do we do that? Well, for instance, if there's one student who desperately wants to go on a trip, but there are question marks, say, around their physical condition or mental or psychological resilience, what we can do there is that maybe rather than having a teacher make that call on whether the student is appropriate for that kind of trip, or say a school nurse, you're able to tap into a medical director or a doctor who's able to help guide the organization through that decision-making process. So yeah, I think certainly these days what we're seeing as a real challenge for schools is around mental health. I mentioned that for schools, what they're trying to do and where learning happens and kids really learn is when you put them outside their comfort zone. You intentionally put them into a scenario which is challenging them in some way. But for a lot of students, that can be maybe a step too far. And certainly there are students who are at risk of harming themselves if indeed they are put in a situation which is causing them a lot of stress. So it's how do you deal with that on the ground as it's unfolding? How do you support a teacher, support a student remotely? And this is a type of expertise which is not really found in the locations that you'll be going to, but is available to be accessed remotely through the types of platforms with Crisis24 and HealthDeliver. So really what we're, to recap on that, it's really that individualized support, acknowledging that the teacher is really at the forefront, having to deal with these types of cases and reinforcing them there on the ground.
Okay, and the likes of a teacher going on an excursion or whatever it may be, generally they need to do a risk assessment and so on. Can you just walk me through how that works in this part where we've got the Crisis24 and the HealthDeliver coming together, or is that best answered by Francis?
Well, first I just want to put it out there that there's this false belief in a way that if you have travel insurance, you think that you are fully covered, but that's not true, because most of the time travel insurance covers the financial claim portion of things. It doesn't help you in terms of the logistics of what needs to be done on the ground when you have a mishap, you have an accident, you have an issue on the ground. So that's where HealthDeliver and Crisis24 comes in, where we provide directly the key logistic or the support that's needed, be it medical, be it security, or be it in any other form, exactly what it needs to be done on the ground. Say if you have an accident, you happen to be in Vietnam, which hospital do you go to? And language becomes a problem. If let's say you're out there in Malaysia to a more remote site, and we do know of certain places that still have certain dangers, say a dog bite incidents, who do you go to? Financial claim, yes, they'll pay you financially, but the act of doing the actual work needs to be done by someone. And that's where Crisis24 and HealthDeliver comes in. And so in a nutshell, we do that part of the work, and that's how we operate.
And I was going to say, there's a lot of variation country to country, particularly in resource limited areas. And so the quality of care in one country may not be the quality of care that you would expect in another. And a great example is a dog bite or exposure to potential rabies. In a resource limited country, they may accept a certain amount of risk in that, because the rabies immune globulin is very expensive. And so they only give it in certain instances, whereas in other countries, everyone would get it from any exposure. And so, what level of risk as a parent are willing to accept? And we recently had a child and a teacher on one of the trips that we were supporting that were scratched by a stray cat. They did not receive the rabies immune globulin plus the vaccine, which is what you would expect according to CDC and World Health Organization guidelines. And so in many cases, that just nobody would have known, nobody would have said anything. But we were very specific to point that out and say, now we need to get this child and the teacher to a facility that has the appropriate rabies immune globulin so that they can have a 100% chance of not getting rabies versus a non-zero chance of getting it.
That's very interesting. And I think, Francis, like I mentioned earlier, we've been in conversations for many years now, getting to know each other's business and understand how Crisis24 works and how HealthDeliver works, and that's been a great journey, that's for sure. And I think the one thing that continues to come up is that personalized care. And I think that if I look at both companies, it's really around personalized care, around customized solutions for the particular company or individual. And from my part, I'm super excited around what we're going to do in the future. We've got a great team. There's great support coming through as well. And if I look at even the last couple of days that we've had with the teams together and the sharing of the knowledge, and from country to country, it's just been absolutely amazing. So from my point, I think it's great to see our partnership growing and starting to really take off. So.
Indeed. And I think, at Crisis24, and our heartbeat is really to save lives and to bring what we call our international standard of care into places where we think that that's a bit of lacking. In terms of Thailand, our heartbeat is really to see the overall care for the employee improving. And we believe by working with HealthDeliver, we will raise that bar. And we are being also very innovative in our solutions, in looking into new needs. This generation, you see different levels of threat, different levels of needs. And these are the things that, we want to bring solutions around us. And I think with HealthDeliver, having the local knowledge of Thailand, certainly we'll be able to work with you guys to improve all these areas.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. It was a fantastic conversation. Really appreciate your time. If you'd like to learn more about Crisis24 and HealthDeliver's partnership, please visit us at www.healthdeliver.asia.